Hey guys, what is up? I just wanted to pop in right quick and say if you're interested in hearing an audio version of this interview, I now am on Spotify. I'm also on Soundcloud, and I'm also on YouTube Music, which you could find that via my YouTube channel. So if that's something you're interested, give me a follow on either one of those platforms, and let's get right into it. Hi, welcome to another edition of Music for Earhole. We're joined by Oz of Rochester's own Necrostalker. What's up?
How's it going?
uh, let's say. On a side note, I was doing some research about you guys, like obviously Googling your name, see if I could find some stuff to add to the interview. And I thought it was pretty funny that there's an NPC in WoW that's actually called the Necrostalker. So I'm not sure if that's any
Oh,
sort of coincidence or maybe a correlation or anything like that with you guys. But
no, I kind of stumbled across that too. I had no clue. None of us are really, well, Aaron's a gamer, but um, I don't think that's kind of his thing though, really.
yeah, yeah, there's that.
Yeah.
I guess we could just start off by asking who is Necrostalker if you had to sum up who you guys were as a band to someone you just met.
Um, we're four guys that are into death metal, really influenced by like Bolt Thrower, 6 Feet Under, kind of that old school throwback death metal sound.
Oh, okay. You guys seem to have a stellar history with shared stage with some awesome bands like the Cro-Mags, I Hate God, DRI, Suffocation, just to name a few. I don't want to pigeonhole you guys, into making you choose a favorite, but if you had to like dig into your memory, which one of those bands I guess would I guess would be a bigger footnote in your brain of who you shared the stage with?
That's a good question. That's a um I mean, yeah, I've been booking a lot of bands, so we're this is our second time playing with Cro-Mags. I love playing with them. It's interesting. Like I like playing with other bands that are not typically death metal because I feel like we have so much of different elements in our style that we kind of cross over well with hardcore bands, punk bands. We love playing with punk bands. Actually, we have a lot of punks that are into our music. Actually, which I think is quite bizarre with the history of punk and metal and
Oh yeah, it's like
where
cats and dogs.
punks and metalheads. Yeah, yeah. But dude, the punk scene loves us and it's awesome. Um, um, yeah, I would say like Chromax definitely stands out there. Suffocation. Um, Derek loved my bass, and we got talking about our gear, and he was snapping pictures of my bass with his bass next to each other. It was awesome. I mean, there's definitely little random um, loves about different bands that we've played with.
Probably a little bit of a
Um,
surreal moment for
yeah,
you with him being a legend, kind of like I guess like fangirling or
yeah.
geeking over, something that you had,
Exactly.
probably a
Yeah,
little bit of an ego boost or
it
self
was.
esteem boost.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the funny thing is, back to the Cro-Mag show. Last time they came through, um, Harley's bass blew, so he used my bass head, or his bass head blew, and he never seen my bass head, or like it's a Geezer Butler signature bass, so he's like, "What? I never knew Geezer Butler had a signature bass head." So he was loving it. I'm like, watch next tour, I'll probably have the same head as mine, but that's not the case. But yeah, yeah, I think I love that show a lot because it was packed. It was great. Kids were jumping off the stage and going wild. So yeah,
Yeah, like you were saying before about the punks metal. It's kind of nice to see two elements of music that are not necessarily like polar opposite, but like have like a history or whatever of like warring or fighting with each other. You know what I mean? Kind of like coming together. You know?
Yeah. We've also played DRI a couple of times too. Those are always fun. Me and Spike, we have a history of booking shows for maybe about 15 years.
Oh wow.
Ish, somewheres. Yeah. So we go way back. I love that dude.
Yeah.
And
Oh, sorry. I thought you were gonna say something. Or you?
no, it's
Oh,
all good.
I was gonna do like a little fun little question. Hopefully, this won't be too controversial because you know everybody has their own opinion on Mount Rushmore bands or whatever. But if you had to make your own Mount Rushmore of metal or death metal bands, past and present, or you can just do past or present or whichever combination you want, who would you put on that Mount Rushmore?
Strictly death metal.
You could put death or metal or death metal, like some sort of combination. Who are the Mount Rushmore of bands that have inspired you, past or present, and or both?
Black Sabbath. I'd probably put Tony Iommi or Geezer. Definitely would have to be on there. They're a huge influence. I'm obsessed with Black Sabbath. Got the tattoo.
Probably traditional, anyways, for being metal. You know, got to have some sort of Black Sabbath in there somewhere.
Exactly. Yeah. And Sabbath. Yeah. Geezer, Tony. I'd probably put Corpse maybe Alex Webster on there. Or Chris Barnes. We're definitely influenced by the Chris Barnes era of Corpse and 6 Feet Under. So yeah, we'll have that him. Let's see. Well, it's Dan Lilliker. This is probably all bass oriented guys.
Probably given anyways that you play bass that you have a lot of bass inspired people on your list.
Yeah. It's my bandmates' fault. They're not with me.
They all have things to worry about, jobs and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. My vocalist, he works during the summertime, so now it's like he's starting back up at work again.
Oh, okay.
So,
I'm assuming he probably does like contracting or something like that.
Contracting, yeah.
Yeah. Big industry around where I live.
Oh yeah. Same here.
Yeah, you pretty much go around and see everybody has some sort of contracted business. So, anyway, sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah. Russ Dolan, I would definitely put him on there too. And our last head would probably be I'm scratching my head on this one. Dying Fetus. Yeah, I would probably put Dying Fetus on there as well. Yeah. Like John, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd put him on there. Yeah.
When you're sitting there trying to come up with music or, come up with some sort of piece, what do you guys usually do to shake out that the cobwebs or whatever, or kind of like, get yourself into the writing process? Or what sort of things you guys do to get yourselves in the mood?
Well, we usually kind of just, when we warm up, we kind of just do a free jam for a minute, and we're like, that sounds good. Let's work on that. And then we'll go through our typical songs and everything and go back to what we just riffed out. We'll record our jams and go through that, and then sometimes next week our guitarists will work on it more, and then we'll put our own two bits in there here, like get picky with it until we get something that sounds solid.
So you guys pretty much just kind of like jam it out or whatever.
Yeah.
Just take what ideas you like and just move off or like build on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see
My
it.
guitarist seems to be our main writer, and
Oh,
then
nice.
I'll put my 2 cents in here and there. But yeah, he's mostly like this dude just cranks out riffs after riffs. So yeah,
Yeah, I think that's the best way to
Aaron's
do it.
great at work.
It's the best place for
Yeah,
creativity is just like, just kind of like freestyling off the top of your head, you know?
yeah. And then once we have our basic song, we'll show our vocalist, and he'll put his lyrics into it. And yeah,
Nice. Does he usually have like, does he sort of kind of like freestyle per se, like off from what he hears, or does he already have like a list of, like stuff that he already has like in his bank that he kind of just pulls from, or is it kind of like a mixture of both?
yeah, he just comes up with like he'll just listen to the song, then he'll write it as it goes, and he likes to feel out the flow before he writes.
Yeah, pass the vibe check. I guess that's kids would say nowadays.
Yeah, yeah.
uh, I guess my next question is: I know people have like a particular image of death metal as crazy and gruesome. Probably the people that are playing the music are savages. Uh, but what I more or less see is like an audio form of like a movie. Like listening to like a horror movie, basically. Luckily these days that's a little relaxed a little bit more because obviously see more people getting more influencer, I guess, kind of like wearing almost like cosplay, being into metal or whatever. I guess it's another particularly topic to talk about sometime on the own. But I know Rochester also has a few notable serial killers in their past, in their history or whatever.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, actually, you guys kind of share one with us too. I know one of the guys from there has also like done stuff here too. I guess my question would be: do you
Um,
find yourselves drawing musical inspiration from non-musical sources, like as far as like with the lyrics, or just like composing your music in general? I know you said you guys generally like riff off from each other, or whatever, more or less like jam or whatever between each other, but you guys also find a lot of source outside of that sort of setting. And how much
I
does it
think
play into your music?
it's John, our vocalist, does most of our writing, and or he does all of our vocal lyrics. I think that's just his personal what he feels that moment when he writes it. I don't think he really writes anything like influenced from anything really, just kind of free free writes more or less.
If you had to pass on knowledge to someone coming up in the scene that you wish you knew back in the day, what would it be?
Ooh, let's see. If I were to pass a baton to someone,
If you were to basically pass knowledge on to
uh,
somebody else in or that was watching this, if you were to like pass like knowledge on to them about your come up into a music and like being in the music scene in general, like what exactly would you pass on to them as knowledge? Like being an elder, I
okay, all
guess.
right, yeah, yeah. Um, Practice, go to as many shows as you can, make friends, connect with people. It's pretty much what I done. It's just try to market yourself to everybody and anybody. You just don't know who is a metalhead,
Mm-hmm.
and to like really interact and go to shows. There's a lot of people that surprise me, like older people that you would think, oh yeah, you're a classic rock fan. A lot of those people are death metal fans and would never know. So always marketing yourself is always a big key.
If I were to use a wrestling term to put over somebody or elevate, who would you elevate right now in the music scene that you're kind of feeling like in Rochester or in your local scene?
Um,
Again, I'm not trying to make you pick
Order of
sides
the
because
Dead.
it can be divisive sometimes. Like you're picking preferential treatment, but
Rochester has a great scene and a lot of talented bands. Order of the Dead comes to mind because they've been at it for such a long time.
Yeah, actually,
And
they got booked over here here in Watertown one time too. One of my buddies booked their band. Really good, really good.
yeah, they're just awesome dudes, and yeah, hardworking band, that's for sure. Talk about a band that self promotes, like I was saying, like self promoting everything, especially in the music industry. And I always hate the people that are not into self promoting. It's like that's why you guys don't make it. It's you got to put your name out there, and those guys just always done it for years.
Yeah, kind of
You
the name of
can't
the
go
game.
around Rochester one corner. Yeah, you can't go to one corner without seeing Order of the Dead sticker on something.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Like I was going back to we were
yeah,
talking before. I actually officially started the interview. It's you know, basically self promotion. You know, treating yourself not necessarily. I don't want to use the word business because it sounds kind of I guess dirty. You know, like you're basically trying to hawk something off on somebody, or you're trying to make money off from it, but you can't really get big if you don't tell people about it.
yeah, exactly.
What is a surprise influence in your music, or like just in your style in general that somebody wouldn't expect out of you?
Ooh, wow. And I feel like we're pretty straightforward as a band. Like, oh man, it's a good question. So I feel like I have a lot of Black Sabbath vibe in the even though I'm a death metal musician, it's out there. It's Sabbath that's right out there. Um, Typo Negative is a big influence to me. Um, uh, I use a sustainer in my bass. I'd say maybe Pete Steele because we're not a slow driven band, but with the way I use my sustainer in my bass, I like to use a lot of feedback. And yeah, I think that tone is there definitely there too. So I'd say Pete would be definitely an influence in the way I play too.
Yeah, probably not too far off because I know Typo Negative is kind of like a dark style of music anyway, so it's not really, I guess, too
Yeah,
far off for you. Uh,
yeah.
how do you balance like as a band, like in general, respecting your influences without necessarily like copying their sound, but also trying to sound unique at the same time? I don't want to like throw shots or anything like that, but I know like metalcore and deathcore kind of like suffer from this in my opinion because a lot of them you can I think it's actually a YouTuber that I used to follow. He always used to call them like architects core because a lot of them would pretty much borrow like from that sound, and they would also sound like pretty much architects if you had like Linkin Park's vocals like added on top of that. It's kind of the same thing too with a deathcore or whatever. You can kind of what or I think what's face there. Lord of Short's kind of like the big one now, but everybody's basically like copying them guys since they're the bigger ones in the scene right now. So yeah, how would
Right.
you say again? How would you say you could craft your sound without necessarily ripping off your influences? I guess it's a bit of a
Um,
hard hitting question, but I figure it's a knowledgeable and insightful one to ask.
yeah. um, yeah. It's it's kind of funny. Our guitarist, he kind of grew up more with the new metal style than the rest of us.
Mm-hmm.
Our drummer's more of a thrash drummer. My vocalist is straight up New York City death metal, and I'm kind of more into the classic Sabbath and Sabbath or classic death metal and Sabbath vibes. I'm into groove like the groovy stuff, and so I feel like the way me and John kind of see things is like 6 Feet Under always comes to mind, and we're both very heavily influenced by them. So I feel like that really pushes forward through our music. Um, I think the way how Aaron plays, he kind of being from that new metal sound, uh, kind of deters us from sounding exactly like we're ripping off like a Six Feet Under style. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I know a lot of new metal was kind of like groove inspired anyway, so like your sound or and Black Sabbath too were also kind of obviously groove inspired, so not really too far off like from like the groove aspect of that type of stuff. So I don't really see it being too far
absolutely.
removed or whatever. I don't know. I feel bad for new metal. I mean, a lot of it was kind of like a rip off of each other because like I was going back and forth or say before that a lot of bands copied each other, but it was definitely a very pivotal sound to getting more eyes on metal,
Absolutely.
which isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, in our early times, we'd be like, we'd tell Aaron, our guitarist, Dad, that's too new metal. Let's do this. But yeah, he started listening to more death metal now, and he's like, I mean, like I was saying, he's an animal when it comes to riffs. He just new awesome riff each time. So we definitely grew as a band too, with his writing.
Nice. I guess of another fun question. If you guys were to do a split EP with anybody in your scene, who would it be and why?
Oh man, I think Sulaco would be sweet, just because we're a little different on the spectrum of styles, but another one of those bands that should be praised in Rochester is Sulaco. Um, that Me and their bass player who passed away, Lon, was a big influence on how my sound is. And if I had any questions, he was always the guy I would ask on any gear, sound, or whatever. And he was always there. So it'd be cool to work with them on an album if there was an opportunity.
And
And Eric Burke, he's played with so many awesome acts, touring acts and stuff. So Eric's the man too, you know.
well, that's put out in the Aether, so it's got to happen now.
Yeah, right.
You guys are part of Severed Records. Yeah, I guess my question is going to be, what is your guys' relationship with them? I know they're like primarily like a distribution type of record company. So, what exactly, like I said, is your relationship with them, and can you elaborate on it?
Yeah, Barrett runs the label. He's a good friend of mine. But yeah, we kind of have more of a verbal contract more than anything. It's like, we'll put out an album with him, and he'll give us X amount of CDs, and he'll take like, I think it's like 10% or whatever of the CDs, and he'll sell them on his website, and we'll sell ours um, through our ways too. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, I love working with Barrett. He's just a straight up dude.
Yeah, there's a lot of pretty good a lot of pretty good acts or whatever out there. Like I said, or when Goma got, they played a show here in my town, and I'm assuming maybe that was a guy. There's a guy there who was selling CDs. I don't know if he's the one that does the merch or anything like that, but he had like a whole like bunch like a box of CDs and stuff like that. And some of the bands I listen to now, or now that I pretty much like got from like buying those CDs and stuff like that. So
Yeah, yeah, and the thing with it, Barrett, that Barrett's just really knowledgeable on stuff. So it's like, if you go up to him like randomly and say, I like this band. What do you have on your label that's like this band? And he'll, it's like, this is what you need to listen to.
nice. Kind of
Yeah,
like
he's
a
he's
index to
great.
tailor your types of metal that you want to listen to,
Absolutely, yeah,
or like a Rolodex. I don't know if anybody uses Rolodexes nowadays.
yeah. But yeah, exactly.
Anything you guys got coming up and that you want to tell people about? You got any releases? You got any shows coming? Promote yourself. This is
Yeah,
basically be
we
tell people what you got going on.
yeah we're playing actually just a few the 12th of this month, April. we're playing with the Chromax.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of which,
You guys play with Linkbeds a lot,
and
don't
then
you?
yeah, and what else? We're actually going to the studio to probably record 4 songs. So altogether, we'll have 8 songs, and eventually we'll have a full length out. Still unsure of an album cover or what the title is going to be yet, but
Nice.
it'll be out there. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. There's been a few different times that we tried to record this and things just keep falling through with different people just not following through with us recording. So this time we're like, you know what, we'll go to our guy Doug Waite. He always does us good, so
We'll do this all that waiting you're doing, he'll be the best album you guys put out, just because you'll have all that intensity and ferocity to go behind it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, we like. There's a few friends of ours that were like, let us record, and it just doesn't grab it, or someone doesn't follow through, and it's like, all right, Doug White is professional. He'll get us done.
Say, put over Doug White. He'll be your guy now.
Yeah, exactly.
You want a reliable producer.
Exactly. He's the man.